I'm back along the lines of are we using our common sense, Oliver Wendell Holmes has a quote, says, "Do not be bullied out of your common sense by the specialist. 2 to 1, he's a pinned." See, usually you can just use your common sense, and that's all you really need to do. You don't need the word of experts. You don't need a lot of books or other stuff like that. Today I'd like to talk about some more about the tail wagging the dog type of stuff. Well, for instance, there's a child in a classroom has a peanut allergy. One child, peanut allergy. So the parents come to the school and they say, "My child has a peanut allergy, could be deadly. We need you to ensure that no peanuts or peanut products enter the school." And so the school makes a ruling. Kids aren't allowed to bring peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to school in their lunchbox. No peanut cookies, no peanuts, no nuts, no candy bars with nuts, nothing like that. Not allowed in the school anymore. So for one child, everybody has to change their routine or their eating habits. Now that seems kind of strange. It seems a little out of balance, I guess is the phrase that I'm looking for. Now here, for instance, I had a friend who had an allergy to shrimp. May have been all seafood, may have been all shellfish, I don't know. It wasn't all seafood, but anyway, at least I know it was the shrimp. And he had been raised in a society where if one person has the allergy, everybody has to change their eating habits. Matter of fact, everybody around him had to change their eating habits. And because of that, apparently he never really grew up knowing how to handle it. So one day he takes his family, his fiance and her family, out to dinner. And they all want to go to Red Lobster, so he goes to Red Lobster. And he gets the assurance from the waiter that there'll be no shrimp or shrimp byproducts or sauce or juice or anything at all to do with shrimp in his food. And he orders a pasta dish. Everybody else orders whatever they want. Well, it turns out there was some shrimp oil in his food or something, and he had an attack. And for some reason, he didn't have an EpiPen with him. We'll get to that later. The restaurant didn't have an EpiPen, something I would have thought all restaurants would have had in their first aid kit. And unfortunately, he died. Now, he was very young. But he was brought up in a bubble, in a world where people changed their habits and what they did to ensure that he never came in touch with shrimp, came in contact with shrimp. And that's the way he was raised. People would work around his problem. And he never really, apparently, learned how to deal with it. He didn't carry an EpiPen with him. Something I would have thought would have been, if I had that problem, I certainly would have 3 or 4 of them with me. I'd make sure I could get one or somebody could get one if I ever had a problem. So, but like I said, he grew up part of the tail wagging the dog, where everybody made their adjustments so that he didn't have to deal with it himself. And when somebody finally didn't make an adjustment, he didn't know how to deal. We're teaching these people, teaching these kids, not how to deal with their problem, but making excuses, teaching them that they're not responsible, that their actions don't have consequences. Everybody else needs to work around them. That's not a good thing. It's another example of where we're weakening this next generation. We're not teaching them what they need to know. When the world does not look out for them. When it's on them to look out for themselves, they don't have the tools to deal with it. They don't have the abilities necessary. We have weakened them. They will not adjust and adapt. They will fail.